I'm Tony Farmer, and I'm here with Maurizio Randazzo of Maurizio's Italian Restaurant, and we're here for a really specific reason. During COVID, everyone I know went out and bought a pizza oven, and most of us didn't know what the heck we were doing. So one day I was talking to Maurizio and he said, how's the pizza turning out? And I said, it's good, but it's not great.
It takes a little work.
And he said, why don't you let me come over and show you how to do it? And I said, why don't we film it? Because I think I'm not the only one that needs this lesson. So today, Maurizio's going to show us how to get the pizza nice and thin and how to cook it properly in the rock box to get a really professional pizza.
That's right.
All right?
Okay.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
So what do we do first?
Okay. The first thing that we do is, of course, you try to keep the dough as round as possible.
Okay.
So it makes it easy to have a round circle.
And how do you know how much dough to use?
It depends what you want to do. In this type of oven, you probably want to need a 10-ounce dough because you don't want to make it too big because it won't fit in there, first of all. And then you want to keep
So it's like a little bigger than the diameter of a grapefruit.
Exactly.
Okay.
Before it rises, it's the size of probably like a tennis ball, maybe a little bigger than a tennis ball. And then it'll rise, will get a little bit bigger, like you say, grapefruit.
Okay.
So, and you want to make sure you get flour all the way around, so it makes it easy to work with. Okay.
Okay.
And when you stretch it, the main thing to stretch is you want to keep the dough even as much as possible. So you push it down as much as possible. Then you want to kind of like pull it. Even if you pull it with your hands a little bit. Okay. As you do this, once it gets to a certain point, if you have a little hard time doing it with your hands, I usually tell people to use this.
Okay.
So the
But
roller.
when I do this, it
Yes.
stretches back in when I do it. How are you
Because
keeping it the same size?
Exactly. So the dough needs to be the more room temperature, the better it is.
Oh, okay.
So, and also needs to be rice. It has to be mature. So when you roll the dough, when you make the dough, depends how much cheese to put it in. It might take an hour or two to be able to be soft and be able to stretch it. If
So
it's
when I
too
get
early,
the dough from you, if I come over to you and I say I need dough and you give it to me,
Exactly.
what do I need to do with it?
well, you keep it in the refrigerator for like maybe to the time 20 minutes before you use it. So
Okay.
20 minutes before you use, you take it out and you have a room temperature. It's easier for you in 20 minutes because it's still a little bit firm, so it's easier to work. Because
Okay.
if it's more than that, it becomes a little too soft and then you have a little hard time.
That's the number one thing that I'm doing wrong. I'm leaving it on the counter all afternoon and it's super
It's
soft.
and then it comes too thin, too thick. It doesn't
Okay.
have. So you want some firm, a dough a little bit to be firm, so you can play with it.
Okay,
back
so you
like
keep
this.
if you're using frozen dough from someplace, which I don't recommend, but if you do, then you want to make sure it's completely defrosted and in the fridge and leave it out for 20 minutes. But if you're buying it from Maurizio,
It's already
just
there.
keep it in the fridge and bring it out and let it sit for 20 minutes before you do this. So
Perfect.
this already feels totally different to me than when I did it myself.
course.
Of course.
I do for living. You grow tomatoes. I do this one.
I grow tomatoes, you make
Well,
pizza.
you grow great vegetables. So you want to try to keep it as flat as possible, but you don't want to push the dough on the side. So you're just gonna
Okay, I'm doing that wrong too.
turn kind of flat. Okay, and once you get to a point that what size you like, so you can kind of like.
Do you know how to do this?
Of course I know.
I'm not gonna try that.
No. So when you don't want to get too big because then you're gonna have a hard time.
Yeah.
So as you do this, the first thing before you put it in the oven, you always want to do make sure you have enough flour.
Because that makes it easy to get it off
Makes
the
it
table.
off the table. So, and when you dress it, it's easy to dress it here and then slide right on top of the paddle and put it on.
Okay. All right, so what do we do now?
So once it's stretched and he says, okay, it's the size that you want, just put a couple spoons of tomato sauce.
Just a
Tomato
little bit.
sauce is the delicious sauce. And you want to try to do evenly, like a pencil when you still like your little kids, you still go around and make it bigger and bigger. So you do that. You don't want to go over the board. You want to try to stay away from the crust, because if the crust gets sauce in there, by the time you put it in the oven, the sauce falls off and it sticks all over the place. And then you want to grab some cheese and you want to start from the center, and then you spread it out.
Perfect.
So always keep things away from the crust, so it makes it nice and easy, so nothing falls off. And then sometimes if it falls off in the oven and it sticks, the pizza sticks in there, it's hard to pull it out, and then it becomes a problem.
All right, you ready to throw it in the oven?
Let's do it.
All right.
All right, good.
So have you used this before?
No, never.
But you've made a million pizzas.
Probably a little, almost a million. Yeah,
Right.
quite a bit. Yeah.
All right, so go ahead.
So once you put the crust, put flour on the bottom. The pizza be easy to move, so you want to have that. You want to slide on top the crust, on top the batter. You want to make sure it moves. So once you put it in the oven, you have to go right in there, making sure it's all the way in, so it doesn't come. You have the right size for it, and then when you pull it, just pull it out slowly.
Okay.
All right, now I'm gonna see what happens. I don't never cook it with this.
So we have to turn it with this.
Yes.
This is what they recommended because the back, I guess, gets hotter than the
Yeah.
front. And these cook in like 90 seconds. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, you know what happens is that sometimes when it's too fast, it doesn't give you time to melt the cheese or cook the inside and stuff like that. So
Yeah, so this solves the problem we were having, which was the top was burning, but the inside wasn't done of the crust because we were getting it too thick.
yeah, it's too. Probably the crust was too thick, and the flaming was too high.
It looks so pretty.
But you want to be a little more well done, so you want to check the bottom, and want to get a little crispy. So you want to make sure that you keep and
Could
turn.
you ever throw a little piece of tinfoil on top if you just wanted to keep the bottom cooking? And
No, because that's not the way pizza.
okay.
It's not a piece
All right,
of fish.
yeah, bring it out.
So there we go. So now you want to see the crust. It's all over the same color, and the bottom, it's almost the same color. You can keep it cooked just a little bit more.
It's beautiful.
That was
This is
it.
absolutely beautiful. All right, can I make one?
Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah, why not?
So now I'm going to try it.
Yes.
The first thing I do is I put it in a little flour on both sides, which I
Both
was
sides.
definitely
As
not
much as
doing before.
possible.
As much as possible.
Yes. Try to keep the dough nice and round.
Okay.
Okay, now put it over here.
Here.
Now you want to try to keep the top part always the top.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know
because
that
it's
either.
easier to work with, smoother. It doesn't make no difference, but
Okay.
I usually prefer doing it that way. You can be a little rough. There we go. See,
All right.
perfect. Now, you do the right thing. So you keep the crusty around. So try to keep it all the way around to do that.
And do I
Perfect.
start, how do I know when I should start stretching
You
it?
can turn it around, flip it.
Flip it?
Yes.
Like this, okay?
Now you can stretch it. Now, there we
Like
go.
this?
So now you did the board. So you want to grab the board and pull it.
Okay.
Try to pull as much as possible, not too hard. And keep
don't wanna rip
turning.
it?
Yes. Yeah. No, keep it turning.
Okay. Like when I was doing this before, I didn't have the dough the right temperature and it was just stretching right back
Exactly.
into place every time I did
Exactly.
this.
So you can stretch it. Try to stretch a little hard if you can. There we go. Okay. Now, see when you do that, you push the dough towards the center too much, and then it will come up a little
Yeah.
higher here. So you try to keep it flat, and you want to go. I know it's hard, but try to keep your hands down and then stretch it like this.
Well, I just need lots and lots of practice.
That's all right. It takes a long time.
So I'm gonna put a little ricotta on here and just spread it around. Am I doing this okay?
Yes.
And a little bit of mozzarella cheese. Beautiful tomato on
looks
top. Yeah. Oh, the color is so pretty.
Yes.
I think if I had salt and pepper here, I'd probably put a little salt and pepper on
Yes.
it. But all right, let's throw that in the oven. I'll let
Okay.
you do the honors, and we'll see how that turns out.
You go ahead and put it in there. Not too close to the flame, but all the way in, making sure that the pizza's all full. So a lot of people, the mistake, here we go, see that? But go ahead, that's,
Yep,
that's
there.
it.
Yeah, so I burned it a little bit right there. I left it in just like 5 seconds too long.
You
was
just
all.
cut it, it looks a
So
little good.
I think we gotta cut them and try them.
Yes.
It is perfect. All right, so this was the last thing we were missing.
Exactly.
And so I have to say thank you for showing us how to properly make pizza with
pleasure.
all of these ovens that we bought during
It's my
COVID.
pleasure,
This
yes.
was absolutely delicious.
Yes.
And what do we say in Italy?
Salute.
Salute.
Cent'anni. Salute. Cheers.
Thank you. I'm Tony Farmer, and this is my garden.